Hello, you guys. It's Kayla here, and boy, does it feel good to be back making another video like this. I missed discussing these important topics with you guys. I also want to thank everyone for supporting my reaction videos. Since I'm not a reactioner, I did not think a single person would watch them, but I've been pleasantly surprised. And if reactions aren't your thing, thank you for waiting patiently for more in-depth content. So today's topic is something I've really wanted to discuss for a while now, but per usual, I've had trouble articulating my thoughts. As you can probably tell from the title, I want to take a dive into incest, or more specifically, why it's such a prevalent trope in BL dramas. I want to put a trigger warning here. If this is something you may be sensitive to, please take care of yourself first and foremost. Let's kick off this discussion by posing a question. Why are BL writers so obsessed with incest? Think about it. Tharn type, history crossing the line, addicted, my bromance, the list goes on. All these BL series and films that rely on a romantic or sexual relationship between brothers. And yes, step-siblings count. Just to establish a starting point, let's define incest. Merriam-Webster defines incest as sexual intercourse between two persons so closely related that they are forbidden to marry. So here the word that sticks out to me is forbidden, and I think the idea of something being forbidden is what really motivates BL writers to include incest in their stories. To elaborate, let's talk a little about the forbidden fruit effect. It's likely that whatever your religion is, you're familiar to some extent with the story of Adam and Eve, which is where this psychological phenomena gets its name. Basically, the forbidden fruit effect explains that urge to do something you're not supposed to do. In the story of Adam and Eve, it refers to them eating forbidden fruit off the tree in the Garden of Eden. As humans, we have this innate desire to break the rules, or to fantasize about doing so at least. Inherently, people don't like being told what to do. We like our freedom. In addition, the more provocative something is, the more we want it. As a kid, were you ever told not to touch something, then went and did the exact opposite? In simplest terms, it's temptation. You know, I definitely understand the appeal of a forbidden romance. It adds conflict to a story, whether it's societal or familial. It affirms the message that love conquers all, and especially in a narrative where you have gay characters, this philosophy is relevant. However, why does it so often have to go to the extreme of incest? We've seen forbidden love play out in many BL dramas and films, two that most notably come to mind being Until We Meet Again and Do the Movie. Stories about forbidden love don't have to rely on the normalization of abusive relationships, and incestuous relationships are abusive. They rely on this coping mechanism referred to as trauma bonding, where two people have a toxic codependency based around a shared traumatic event. All around, incestuous relationships are unhealthy for both parties and can lead to a generational cycle of abuse within a bloodline. In the first BL-related video I ever posted, I spoke about the need for dramas to stop romanticizing abusive behavior in relationships. And I think this topic does fall into the same category. And so I feel like a broken record when saying this, but people will watch these dramas and films that depict incest as love and will be conditioned to accept abuse as the norm. Something else that I can't shake is this feeling that things like incest are being aligned with the LGBTQ+ community. In fact, I know this is happening because I've seen it. Take, for example, the headassery that is this upcoming Filipino BL. This is not who we are, and this is not what we condone. Yes, being gay is considered a taboo, but we are not sexual predators. We are not deviants or abusers or any other characterization that's being pushed onto us with dramas like this being released. The BL genre has come a long way, and there are writers and directors that are really stepping it up and taking input from the LGBTQ+ community seriously, but we still have a long way to go. I recently saw this tweet that brings up a very thought-provoking point about the progression of BL as a genre. It's true that the BL we once knew is transforming into something totally different, something that better reflects gay people instead of just fetishizing us for entertainment purposes. Before we wrap this up, I want to talk about the body swap drama The Shipper, because that's the series that really pushed me to finally make this video. A short synopsis on the characters we'll be mentioning. Kim is a student who is revered as the smartest kid at his high school. Then we have Kim's brother, Ket, who he's fairly distant with up until the body swap occurs. And lastly, there's Pan, who's close friends with Ket and is the one Kim switches bodies with. Lo and behold, Pan and Ket start to recognize their feelings for each other while she's stuck in his brother's body. As you can imagine, some very uncomfortable scenes ensue. Yes, it's Pan who's inhabiting Kim's body during this time, but you cannot convince me that they're not trying to bait BL shippers with these scenes. The series is literally called The Shipper. If they really wanted to portray the tension between Pan and Ket, then every time they have a scene together where Pan is in Kim's body, they would show Pan instead and not do this switch between them when it starts to get too incestuous. It's weird, period. It's a letdown as well because there was so much potential for this series to show how overzealous shipping is harmful and how family and friendship bonds are more valuable than anything. But between the teacher-student storyline and the incest baiting, it's ruined for me. I hope any part of this was coherent. Lately, I've been overwhelmed by all the discourse. Either way, thank you to the moon and back for watching. Sometimes I get into a mood where I question whether there's a point to making videos, but I always power through it when I see you guys commenting with your own thoughts and experiences. I feel less alone in a way. Enough of the sappiness. Thank you for supporting me in everything I do, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!